Hello, everybody. Hello. How is everyone doing today? I mean, it's a nice fall day. It's nice and it's starting to get cool. It's starting to get at that time of the year where it feels like change is happening, and change is always good because the change never stops. It's the one thing that you always know is consistent: taxes, death, and change. It's just one of those wonderful things. But today I would like to welcome a very special guest. Some call him Sweet. He says he's the 14th cousin, 37 times removed from his dad's fourth cousin's neighbor of Bram Stoker. Let me welcome Clint Stoker to the SKITS Fun House!
All right. Glad to be here. People often say, like, Clint, we were just talking about this last night, you're so relaxed. It's almost like an ASMR channel. But I need to channel some of that energy. That's awesome.
Well, I think the reason why I do it is for myself, because I'm always nervous about these things. I'm not the type of person who likes to be in front of a camera talking to people. So for me, it's like a tension breaker, going back to what was that movie, Summer School or whatever, where it's like tension breaker had to be done, bam, right there.
Yeah. I love it. And then I feel welcome to Mandible Smasher says Clint has magnificent hair. Why, thank you.
I know neither one of us are showing our hair, except you do have some nice facial hair. That is something that I've never been able to have. So,
Yeah. It's at least have got some hair. It's getting, I bet I've been wearing a hat for couple months now, straight on live streams, and I think when I take it off again, people are gonna be like, what happened? Because it's just been, I don't know what it is, but it's just rapidly going. So but it's all good.
Hey, it's that time of the season, when that time in your life when that type of stuff actually starts to happen. Myself, my dad was bald in his 20s, so I'm in my 40s, and I think I'm still doing pretty darn good.
You're doing good. Yeah. I'm only a little jealous, but yeah, if you're in your 40s and you get a head full of hair, I think you're set. Yeah, you should be good.
I know it must have come from my mom's side, because my dad's side, he hasn't had it since he was 20. Let's just be honest,
Yeah.
So, how are you doing today? We broke the tension. We got you excited. I know it's tough. It's the end of the campaign. You're running on fumes. You're just trying to get across that finish line. How's it going for Clinton this time and age?
I'm doing well. We talked a little before we started streaming that it's toward the end of the campaign. People are always like, "Are you okay?" And like I had that. I remember I went on Ethan's stream back in like January or February. It was the end of my campaign, and everyone was like, "You just look upset," and I can feel it. Last night, someone was commenting, "Are you okay? You look sick on the stream." I'm just the campaign is just it's a lot of work. It's stressful, but I'm loving. I mean, the book looks fantastic.
It does.
The cool thing, I have to remind myself to sort of sit back and just think, I'm making comics, and I remember not too long ago when it was like I wanted to make comics so badly, and it was just so unobtainable because I'm not an artist. And so it was like you had to get the money to pay an artist. You had to find an artist that was willing to do your thing, and it was just so difficult. And so it's cool to just be able to sit back and say, I'm making books, and you know, my dreams are coming true. And so it maybe sounds a little cliche, but it just, I mean, it really is pretty great.
Well, let's be honest here. Okay, your first two books I thought were awesome. They were fantastic, you know. But
Thanks.
let's be honest to the people at home who actually want to do this. You're actually on your new on Fatal now. You're making money. This one you're making money on. You've done two, and now you're making some real money. You know. And here's the beautiful thing: you don't have to draw all of it. You get to write it.
Yeah, I know, but Charlie's got a lot of work. I mean, he's done a ton of work, but he still has a lot of work on his plate. So, yeah, that's it's cool. And yeah, the first couple campaigns, it's like you kind of have to think of it as an internship.
Yeah.
And you know, you're trying to get your name out there, build a reputation, and you know, the pressure stays on you. I think it's still, I don't know if you feel this way too, but it's like I've got a lot to prove, you know.
Yeah.
And so so that's there. I'm not sure that I'll ever really leave, but yeah, I mean, it just grows, it snowballs, and hopefully, you know, the next one will reach even more people, and you know, you can kind of just keep growing it.
Well, I think if you lose that drive to do better and to prove yourself, you probably shouldn't be in the industry, because there's tons of kids out there that are half our age that have a lot of energy inside them, and they have a lot to prove. Okay, so if you ever lose that, might want to go somewhere else a little bit, because this is a ton of work. Not only are you writing books, drawing books, lettering, coloring, all that, but you're also doing this. I mean, if you're sitting here like us and we're trying to promote our books all the time, this is another aspect that takes up a ton of energy and time. And anyone out there, you just got to kind of dig in and say, hey, you know, this is a 3-year plan. I'm going to do the best I can for first few books. And if I break even, that's fantastic. You know, but maybe by the third or fourth, you actually start to make some money. And that's the hope and the goal for all of us. I know it was for us. We were just like, okay, if we make 10 grand on our first book, then we can say, okay, that's cool. Lots of sweat equity. No money's been lost. We're doing okay. But, you know, we're sitting here at almost 18K now. So we're doing okay. We're doing a lot better than we thought we would. So, you know, people just got to realize that you're not going to make money your first time out. And if you do, you're very lucky and you need to capitalize on it. But, you know,
Yeah.
This is just the way it is. You got to know going in that you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and at some point, I mean, you're going to evaluate what success means. That used to be a question I got a lot. I think less now. I actually haven't heard it in a while, but what counts as being successful in comics? And that's going to mean something very different depending on where you are, you know, along your, you know, journey. But for me, even it's the same with growing YouTube channel. The question was, am I growing the channel? Like, are things growing? Am I getting new people watching? Are my views more consistent? And if you're doing that, then to me that's successful. You're progressing. It's when things are going the opposite direction or whatever, then you maybe you're evaluating. But if you're publishing books, you're putting books out, and it's worth it to you to do another book. You know what I mean? You're seeing readership grow. To me, that's massively successful.
Yeah, and you really, it's down to the individual or the individual team as to whether or not it's worth moving forward. I mean, I think you said it perfectly. You know, that's something that you have to look at yourself. You got to look at your life priorities too. I mean, should you be doing comic books, or should you be out there working a job so you can put food on the table, get a car, take care of your kids? I mean, all those types of things. You know, and that's another thing. People need to have passion for this. I mean, I hate to say it, but if you don't have passion for it, you're going to get disgruntled probably really quick, you know, and you can't have too much. I think maybe there's a few people that have too much passion, but you definitely got to have passion for it, because you can't get everything broken down when someone doesn't say something that you like, you know. So Let me ask you this though. I mean, besides comics, what is your passion in life? I mean, what gets you up out of the bed every morning and get you moving forward to actually do these types of things, you know?
Besides comics, that's a great question. I mean, I love a lot of things. I love I have a drive to be creative, and I've always been that way. And there will be times when I actively say, why do I always want to participate? You know what I mean? Like I can't just sit down and read a comic book and just be like, I'm consuming comics, you know. I want to do that, you know. I think I could do that and I want to do that. And so I love music. That was something I used to write a lot of music. And then
Hmm.
from there, it was like I wanted to write stories, and I got into writing novels and stuff. But comics was always this step that I wanted to get to. So it's cool to be there. But I've got a great family. My kids motivate me to do a lot, and I'm trying to improve myself and be a well-rounded person and everything. But I don't know. Sometimes I definitely it seems like I'm just eating and breathing comics right now.
Well, how do the kids and how does your wife feel about the comics? I mean, when they see you putting all this time and energy into it, what do they think?
They're really supportive, and I could not do it as put as much time and energy as I have been without their support. So I'm really grateful for that. My kids, it's funny because they'll explain, they're young, they're in elementary school, and they'll, the question always comes up like, what does your dad do? And they have some of the weirdest, like funniest explanations, but they're, well, he makes videos and he cleans windows. Or my son's like, oh, he makes comics. And I wish I could say like that's what I do for a living, but my full-time job is something that's so boring, and to them they have no way of really describing it. So I work at a college, I'm staff at a college, and so
Oh,
for them
nice.
it's just I don't know what that is, but he cleans windows and he makes comics. And I have a little window cleaning business on the side too, so that's where the windows come in. Yeah.
Hold up and pump the brakes for just a minute now. I just heard something. Now, you just mentioned it a minute ago, and I just mentioned it again. You clean windows. You're a window cleaner. Now, okay, I'm gonna let you go deep into the recesses of skits here and me as an individual.
Yeah.
College, okay, so my college, I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, and my roommate as well as a lot of my friends there were Christian or Mormon, okay,
Uh,
and for some reason cleaning windows is kind of synonymous with that, because there's a few companies in the area that were all Christian or all Mormon, and they all did window cleaning. So I've been cleaning windows since 97, since 1997. And
nice.
I still do it from time to time. Like my buddy still has a business on Nantucket, and every now and then I'll swing on over there and stay for a month or so and wash windows. But I mean, how crazy is this? You're a window cleaner and so am I.
Small world. Yeah. The thing is, it's such a nice business to just make
Yes.
some extra money.
Yes.
And I like it, it's not like, for me, I'm just sort of a one-man show. Every once in a while I'll get some helpers,
Yeah.
but not frequently, and so, but it helped me pay off my student loans, which was just this big, albatross of a thing hanging around my neck. And so it was great to get those paid off. So it's been good for that. And then it's been I do less of it now. I've been doing less window cleaning, which is nice. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but I mean, it's a good way to get some money in a hurry. So
Well, I'll tell you what. When we do it on Nantucket, it's a 3 month window when you can work on Nantucket. It's just for the season. So you
uh,
got 3 months. You work 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. And I got to tell you, we haven't been able to find too many Americans that'll do that type of work,
yeah.
because they're just like, oh yeah, I'll wash some windows, and then they show up and they're pulling ladders around the house. They're you got to get some speed down so you can actually move from house to house and make some decent money. And you know, that we had to hire people from Eastern Europe most of the time, you know, and it's just really tough because Americans, they'll show up for like 3 or 4 days and then they disappear and you never see them again, you know?
Yeah, it's sad, but I've noticed the same thing. It was so hard for me to get, and I thought, oh, I can get somebody that'll be, just my always there helper,
Yeah.
but nobody would want to do it. I remember this one guy had him, and we started working, and we were in like 2 hours, and he's like, so when are we going to be finished? It's like, we're finished when we're done, like,
No.
and it's clean. Like we can't, it was such a bad sign.
Okay, now out. I know you're out west. Now, the houses that you're cleaning, is it all flat glass or do you do French? I mean, what type of windows do you do?
Most of it's pretty flat. I'll run into some French windows, but not very often.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. Most of it's new construction. Every once in a while, I'll get into some older homes with some older windows and screens that you just wonder how like painted in screens, and you're like, I'm not gonna be able to get these out. I have no idea how to clean these windows. Those will come up.
Yeah, and then also you got the metal screens. The metal screens leave all sorts of window staining and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's you always, when you show up to an old house, you're like, oh, please, someone change these screens out to the fiberglass ones or something. Because you're in for trouble if you have to deal with the metal screens, man.
Yeah, and they'll fall apart as soon as you take them out, and it's like, well, now I've got to replace your screens. Apparently, like
I know, and they always think it's your fault. They're like, "Oh my God, you broke my windows." It's like, no, it just fell out.
Right.
On Nantucket, you're dealing with houses that are 100, 200 years old, and you'll have like 8/8 or 16/16. And then there's also storm windows, so you got to take the storm windows out.
I hate those. I hate those. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky over here. Generally everything's new, and I'm just doing commercial. So I've got a little route, and I did an office building last weekend, and that stuff's not too bad. So,
well, my test when in '97 was the owner of the company, Rob Mayo. He was just like, okay, I'm going to test you, and if you pass this test, you can go off and do whatever you want, because we were all independent contractors, And he took me to a McDonald's. It was like in the crappiest part of town. He's like, okay, you're going to do this McDonald's, and there's like 50,000 people coming in and out. There's kids everywhere, and you're doing the windows, and it's got syrup on the windows. I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff. You just sit there and eat breakfast while you're doing it, and basically, like, you get done and you feel terrible and you don't think you've done a good job. He's like, oh yeah, you're good. Basically, if you make it through, then you're good to go on anything else, if you can make it through that.
Yeah, it's funny. Restaurants there. I have a Chili's as a client. And there's the worst, because it's like food splatter, ketchup, all that kind of stuff. But again, it's a nice business. Like it's and it's not rocket science. There's definitely a learning curve, and you can get really good at it, get fast,
Yes.
But it's it's not rocket science. So it's pretty good.
Well, okay. I think we've talked enough about windows and everything. Let's kind of roll it on back. Let's get back into Fatal. I mean, we've been talking about windows. Let's talk about this Fatal stuff. Let's hear about Fatal. How did you come up with this?
Fatal really is a collaboration with Charlie Snogans, and I'd like to say I've got a ton of ideas that are kind of popping around my head. Some I've started to write out. I've got stuff out there, but when it came to Fatal, it was more of Charlie came to me and said, hey, I have some of these drawings. I've got this action scene planned out, and it's this sci-fi action in an alien world. And he said, the motivation is this guy wants to get off this planet. That's all he knew, though. And
Nice.
so it felt like the way that I approach it is I'm being hired as a writer to get onto this story and see what I can build from it. And so the nice thing is that Charlie's a great storyteller. and with the action sequence that he had, I don't know, it was just so cool. So from there, it ended up being, what is the real hook here? I've seen so many sci-fi stories that could be set in an alien universe that it can kind of seem cliche. So to me, I thought, what is the unique thing about this guy? And I just thought, it'd be fun is to kind of make fun of the idea of saving the world, saving the planet, because that happens so often. So for him, it's his job, and he's kind of looked down upon, and what his job is he exterminates alien invasions, those pesky aliens. And so they'll come and cause havoc. He'll go, and sometimes it's an easy job, sometimes it's a really difficult job. And that sort of got the ball rolling and gave it, I think, a lot more character than just being a sci-fi story. And so we built everything around that, plotted it out, and it's been really fun. We're working through it Marvel method. So, we've got the plot we're working from, and Charlie's just drawing, and he is a great storyteller. So
Well,
it makes my job easy.
Since you just mentioned Charlie and his amazing artwork, for some reason, out of nowhere, out of the blue, we got Charlie. How about that?
Here he is.
I made it. What's up, man?
Hey there, man. I appreciate you coming on. I told Clint, I was like, hey, can you get Charlie? He's like, I don't know if he'll be able to make it. I was like, all right, well, if he does, he does. No big deal. But hey, this is my first time ever speaking to you, and thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for having us. And Clint sent, I was just talking to him, and I said, oh, I just watched your video today, Clint. That was such a fantastic video. You make such great videos. And then he says, here's the skits link. And I said, all right, what are we doing that? Oh, now? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I had to rearrange. I was nowhere near the computer. I kept running over. It was good though.
Oh no,
Very happy to be here.
I just figured he's invited. I'll send it. I didn't know if you sent it to him, but I did. So
Well,
that all works okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Like when I mentioned it to you, you seem pretty like, oh, I don't know if he'll be able to make it. So I was like, oh well, But hey,
Yeah.
this is great. So I never sent it because I didn't think you'd be able to make it. I thought maybe you're working or doing something. I'm not sure, but
well,
thank
I'm
you.
usually right here, right at the drawing table, and I just happened to be outside when I was listening to Clint. I was inspecting my grass like an old man. I was sitting there listening to Clint's dulcet tones in my ears, and it's this weird since all the lockdown stuff. I'm inspecting my lawn. Hey, there's sprouts. I seed it, little tiny bits at a time, as though I'm peppering, a sandwich. Ooh, a little bit of seeds, and the sprouts are coming up. I'm very excited. This is
good feeling. Huh?
Welcome to the suburbs.
Hey man, that's just awesome, man. I mean, I was actually, before we started this one, I was outside talking to my neighbor across the fence, as it were, across the bushes, and he was bush hogging over there, and we were talking about this, that, and whatever. It's just one of those nice scenes, where you feel good, you're in your lawn, you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. And but then I was like, oh my gosh, what time is it? And I had to run up here real quick and put it together. I was like, hey, what's going on, Clint? But before you came on, Clint was just sitting here saying, you came to him with the artwork and an idea, and then it kind of went from there, where you started throwing stuff back and forth. Now, to me, this kind of sounds like the way Marvel Comics used to do their thing, where you'd put out a rough sketch of an idea of the story, a draft, and then you'd send it over to the artist, and then the artist would just create everything, and then they'd send it back to the writer, and then the writer would fill in the word balloons, based upon the artwork. So
Clint is even generous. Clint's being generous with me saying that I had an idea. I had 3 drawings. I had 3 drawings, and I showed it to him. I said, what is this? I don't know what this is. And he pushed it back to me and said, how about this? And I said, holy smokes, that's amazing. I didn't know that's what we were doing. Let's do it. So
yeah,
fantastic, man.
Definitely a collaboration, I would say. But yeah, but it is Marvel method for sure, in that it's not full script. I think I wrote I've written 2 or 3 scenes in full script, But even that is just to sort of give Charlie an idea of how it could go. And so from there, we're living by the outline, really. And yeah, I have written some dialogue for the first 12 pages or something like that. But I know Charlie's gotten a lot done since the campaign's been going and everything. So I'm really excited to get back in there and write more dialogue next week, after the main campaign is over. So I don't know, it's a fun process, and I can see definitely some of the benefits of why you would go Marvel method. There's something that you can kind of go by. I don't know, the fun, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. The story is being driven by what's cool.
Well, it feels like maybe like the two people who are working on it the most, you got the writer and the artist, and it seems like they're kicking the ball back and forth to one another. It's like the writer's like, hey, I got this idea. And then the artist is like, okay, well, I like that, but here's my idea on it. And then the writer's like, oh yeah, well, here's my idea on it,
Each time the ball comes back to you, there's something else stuck to it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What
exactly.
in the world? This is getting heavy. I mean, I'm drawing pages. I just drew a page, and it's something we had in the outline, and it's something we discussed. And then as I drew it, I thought, oh, wait a minute, this would be even better if I put this in there. And now I'm looking at it right now, thinking, I wonder what they're gonna say. I don't know. I just did the action, and it looks cool. That's all I know. And there's even a part where the main character Flynn, he's doing this gesture, and I don't know what he's saying. That's Clint.
The onus is on you, Clint, to actually pull it all together and to make it work, buddy.
It's really fun because the first bit, it was like, when you're writing, it's like, I need internal conflict. You have to have what's the emotional hook, and you want to demonstrate what, do some character building and stuff like that. And so a big thing I always say is just, as you're doing this, make sure there's conflict, and so as long as there's conflict, then then it gets really fun, because then it's okay, well, what's going to show the reader the most about this character, with this conflict. And so I try to look at each one of those exchanges between characters as, how can it lift the most weight, basically, for the story. So it's really fun, and they're very expressive faces and poses, so that makes it even better. The acting is so good.
So we got a little question here. It's like, did Clint or Charlie look at what's popular in comics first, or was the sci-fi book just a dream to make? How do you respond to that?
I definitely didn't look to see what was popular in comics. I think it really was inspired by Charlie bringing, like, hey, I've got, and there, we had a character, obviously a sci-fi world, fighting aliens. If he had brought to me maybe a romance or something, and there were, there was a couple just lying in the grass staring at the sun or something like that, I think I would have said, I don't think I can write romance, and I know that romance is not going to sell to this audience. And so that would have been, I think, a stop. But to me, sci-fi is, it will sell. So we didn't do a ton of market research. It was just like, let's make a cool book.
Well, since we have that one question here, let's go ahead and say hello to the chat, man. That's something that I haven't actually done. I was finally able to back Fatal today. Hey, thanks, Ryan Wynn. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
It's so awesome. Let's also say hello to some of the other people. We got Black Star 13. We got First Films. We got Ryan Wynn, who's just there. Also, thank you. Mandible Smasher, you are awesome. Rock 10 Glory. Rock 10 Glory, man. I got to tell you, Rock 10, hey, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for stopping by. You're a dream, man. VIP is always in the house. VIP is always first in the house. So thank you so much, VIP. We appreciate you. We got, oh my gosh, we got my mom in the chat. We got nice. Cult Film Video. Who else we got in here? El Gargoyle is awesome. He's always stopping by. I appreciate it. So anyway, yeah, there's everybody. Let's go ahead and put y'all's campaign up, man. Let's show people what this is all about here. Bam. Let's have lawn bowl stream. Hey, now lawn bowl would be good, but my personal favorite has always been lawn darts. You know, I'm a huge fan of lawn darts, and I was really good at it. So that's, you know, they don't sell that anymore. Just so y'all at home, if you're looking for it, they haven't sold that in a while. So
yeah, I think it's illegal in New Jersey. Is it illegal across the whole country?
Is it illegal? Well, where I'm at, I don't think there's too much legal. I'm in the South, and most of the southern states don't really make too many things illegal. So, you know,
it's just whatever goes.
We used to have to go south of the Mason-Dixon to buy firecrackers.
Yeah, you know.
Now,
I mean, we got plenty of firecrackers here.
now, I think the North has sort of given up on that. They're just thinking, go ahead, you're home, just blow stuff up. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as you're blowing yourself up, you know, whatever. Yeah. Just don't hurt other people, you know.
And this year, with all the crazy stuff happening, I was my wife and kids went down the street to the neighbors for July 4th, and I went outside as they were coming home, and just behind every yard was just explosions in the suburbs. The houses are close together, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's no more rules. They put one too many rules out, so everybody said, all right, no more rules. F this.
Well, where we live, most people are farmers, so most people pretty much have access to dynamite, and everyone has guns. So that's pretty much what you get around here. So
nice.
But okay, so here's Fatal. Here's your campaign. I mean, you are so close to 75,000. I mean, how cool is that, man? You're just killing it right now. I mean, this is so awesome. Oh, do you smell it? Is that what?
I can smell it. We've all got 75. It's so close. Come on.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Would you mind if I go ahead and play the video since we have it up?
Please do, yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Received a transmission from the planet Vandrel. Shall we give it a listen?
I'm calling you because my planet is sick. And not the monarchy, not the royal guard, not a single person on this spinning rock seems to care. It started gradually. First, it got into our heads. By the time I realized something was wrong, by the time I woke up, they were already here. Things look perfect at first glance, but that's how the aliens work. That's how the invasion starts. A slow boil. I'm calling you because I can't trust anyone here. You're off planet, you're a professional, and I'm afraid we might already be dead.
Flynn? How shall I respond?
It's a job. Let's suit up.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
Yeah, Vaughn's voiceover, he's amazing with the voiceovers. So I was really glad that he could help us out with that. It turned out pretty cool. I'm still not sick of watching that trailer either. And we've seen it a million times, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I think that's one of the big things about doing these videos is, you know, with skits, we just decided we were like, we ain't going to say anything in it. We're just going to have music and show the artwork. But it's like, because we felt like it's really hard to put a voiceover track unless the voice is perfect for the book. And I think Vaughn, I mean, he did a fantastic job for y'all, man.
You did great. And it, you know, I I'm kind of glad the competition's been stepping up on videos. My first videos, they're pretty lame. I just kind of would ramble about the book, but after seeing so many people do great videos, it's like, oh, you gotta step it up. But to me, it's a good opportunity to show off writing, and in a campaign that's really hard because it's so much on the art.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just like tell people, you write something out, make it sound compelling, and you can kind of show off, and they get a taste of what the writing's going to be like. And so I think it's great. I'm never going to go back. It's always going to be like a movie trailer kind of angle. So
yeah, I think that's the way to go. I mean, there's a reason why movie trailers are done the way that they are, and it's because it works. I mean, if you go back and you look at movie trailers from like the 80s or 90s, you're just like, oh, why would I ever watch any of this stuff?
yeah.
So I mean, the techniques and the way of doing this has actually moved forward a lot, and that's a wonderful thing. And we got a question here right quick from Ryan Wayne. Who did the Fatal logo?
It was done by James Dean Anderson. So
there you go, James Dean Anderson. Shout out to you. It's fantastic. Okay, we got another one here. We do campaign videos, horror, sci-fi, and others. Check us out at Burst Films on Twitter. Yep, there she is. Burst Films. They do videos. We've done videos for a couple different campaigns now to help them out, and they turned out really good. Really good.
See, that's one thing that I like writing it. I liked preparing the audio, but the visuals, I think that I could improve there for sure, is just making the motion of everything just better. That could definitely be stepped up. So I think that's a good idea to get some help.
Now, Charlie, I got to tell you, I left it on this piece of artwork right here, and there's a reason for that. I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, this kind of reminds me of something from the past. I got to tell you, I feel a little bit of McFarlane. I feel a little bit of Sam Keith, and I feel a little something else, and I'm not quite sure what that something else is quite yet, but tell me who your influences are for your art style or the way you like to produce your work.
That extra feeling that you got, that's your loins shifting just a little bit. It's all built in there. It's just enough to shift you around just a little. Did it move? Did it move? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, man. Well, on the nose, McFarlane, I loved growing up, and Jim Lee. We all love those two. Frazetta and Al Williamson.
Oh yeah,
Williamson doesn't have quite the attention that everybody else does these days with the with his. He was sort of the predecessor to Frazetta, or they were contemporaries a little bit. And those Star Wars books in the 80s, the Al Williamson Star Wars comics were phenomenal. They were so amazing, and he was sort of he wasn't as actiony, I guess, as Frazetta, but a draftsman. And then I was obsessed with the Renaissance as a 20-year-old, the Da Vinci stuff, and why was he writing backwards? I remember everybody wondering, what was this? Was he trying to hide his secrets? Was he trying to hide his secrets? He's left-handed. He didn't want to smear his ink. Everybody thinks there's some conspiracy that he was just thinking, I'm tired of smearing everything. And if you've ever written left-handed, not only that, try and write in a spiral notebook left-handed. What a pain in the arse. It is horrible. I mean, the other thing I don't understand, because I injured my right hand and had to do everything lefty for a while. Did you ever try and use right-handed scissors with your left hand?
It's terrible. Yes, there's a reason why
doesn't it work?
Get mad. Hey, I don't know.
It's so bizarre. I cannot. Everybody says, "Well, the pressure or whatever." I cannot figure out why right-handed scissors don't work if you use left-handed. It's the same
scissor
direction. It's nothing different. I don't understand.
I've never tried it. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm gonna try it now.
Not work. Yeah. Am I just a simple? I am a simpleton, but it should work. I don't understand.
No, the reason
yeah.
why is because of the way the scissor action is comparative to how you squeeze your hand, because your fingers pull in while your thumb is over the top pulling down to this way. So if you do it the opposite way, it pulls the scissors apart instead of pushing them together. That's why they have left and right hand scissors.
I guess, but I've kept on with the trying and took my fingers out of the two holes, and I had just held the scissor, as two separate items, and it still wouldn't, so just doing this with it still wouldn't work. I don't know. I'm just a dummy doing at-home experiments, and I can't figure anything out. I'm writing down my theories in a book.
I'm trying to find some scissors now.
F this scissor conspiracy. They hate lefties over there at Ron or whatever.
I remember in maybe the late 80s, early 90s in the mall. I grew up in Daytona Beach. In the mall there, Evolution Mall, they had a lefty store where everything was for left-handers. They had the can openers, they had the scissors, they had all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't know if you're left-handed or not. Sounds like you might be, or maybe you've had to be left-handed at some point. Yeah. Now, do you remember these stores, these left-handed stores?
No, I never went looking for anything. Keep going.
I never went looking for it either, but I just thought it was funny. That was at that point where I was just like, "Oh, look, there's left-handed people." I've never thought it was that big of a deal. Apart. I know.
The only place I've seen that is on The Simpsons. There was a whole. Do you remember that? I don't know if you're old enough to remember this very old one of the first two seasons of The Simpsons. Ned Flanders, the neighbor, opens a left-handed emporium for lefties to come shop at, and Homer hates him, so he tells no one that he hears that need left-handed things. And Ned Flanders' store, the Leftorium, that's right, and his store starts to go under because Homer's really a bad guy in the story. Yeah, well, everybody needs it.
I am old enough to remember all The Simpsons. However, I never watched any of The Simpsons. But someone who might have watched some of those Simpsons that we're talking about right now is Black Star. I'd like to welcome her. Black Star, how are you doing? Black Star?
You're muted. You're muted.
Well, unmute. Why are you muted? She's muted.
I was saying, don't leave me out. You left me out. Come on.
So what do you think of the Leftorium? I mean, do you remember this? Do you remember this?
I do remember that episode. And then you have the physics of scissors for the right-handed users. But yes, I do remember that episode. And it was a great episode because everyone at that time tried to find left-handed scissors just so they can do the experiment if they are ambidextrous or not, if they can do left and right. It's a great... The Simpsons are basically fortune tellers. They have foretold so many events since the airing of their show that it's just crazy good stuff. So I don't know. I know. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey.
Very
doing well.
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Hey Charlie, this is the first time I'm speaking with you. Now it's Snogans, not Snoggins. Yes.
That's right, Snogans. Just think of a snowman, and he's outside, and he's got two huge bazookas, and he's firing them. And somebody said, "What is that you're shooting there, snowman?" And he says, "These are snow guns."
Oh, look at you! That's funny. I thought it was snow that's jogging. Okay, so snowgans. That's fine. That's perfect. Hey, Clint, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I am excited for you guys. We're almost getting you to 75K, and that is awesome.
I know it's a big landmark. It's kind of funny numbers. I think it's part of it's psychological, but maybe because it's like we're 3/4 there, to 100K.
I mean,
yeah,
that is just phenomenal from where you were before. And I think we asked that question from you when Skits and I was selling the sizzle and then dropping out on your stream, coming back in, dropping out, coming back in. And we were like, well, how does it feel to like have 25K? And you're like, it's great. And now you're like, 75K, I'm good. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's crazy. You have to sit back sometimes and just soak it in. You know what I mean? This is the thing. I get so involved in the campaign and the process of, okay, what should we be doing? You know, we got to make sure we're streamlined and, should I hit the mailing list up again? All this kind of stuff. It's nice to sit back and just be like, wow, look at what we've done so far. So it is
that's
great.
Wisdom. And one of the things that Skits and we've learned from the best, so you two are part of that team of the best team, is the fact that, thank the good Lord, you guys know how to do a short link for your project. Because a lot of people on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, they have to do the whole entire thing. And there's an actual link that says, if you want a short link, just put it here. I don't know why people are missing it. So you guys are professionals if you can get the short link. Thank you.
It's easy to do, but yeah, I mean, you have to go through each campaign page, and you're filling it out. Just make sure you read everything. So, but yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad we made the list.
That is the list. It's one of those things where you try to explain to people how to do it, and being nervous the first time, dropping your campaign. Did you go over it enough? Did you put enough words on it? Did you do what didn't you do? And then all of a sudden, like when you start doing the rounds, someone finds something like, oh, is it the character space? Did you miss a letter? And you're like, yes, I did.
Yeah, there's so much. It's the biggest thing I stress out about the most is the tiers, like, because you want to make it simple, but you have to have the right tiers. And what is this going to make our average backer dollar amount? You know what I mean? If we have this mix of tiers, that's still like, I'm still trying to improve that, but that's the one thing I'll just stress out about forever before the campaign launches. So
we understand. Skits made sure we had our confab to make sure that what you see is what you're getting. And that's what we want to stress to our backers, is that the picture that you see. So if you see a straight jacket, you're gonna get a straight jacket. If you see 3 books, you're gonna get 3 books. If you see a crazy Skits craft mat, that's what you're gonna get. And a lot of people, they don't understand that it's stressful in itself, because Indiegogo, putting those pictures in and the descriptions, it's hard work because their dimensions are not what they tell you they are. They really aren't.
Yeah, and part of it, so my sort of theory, I don't know if that's the right word, the way that I think about it, I totally got it from Kyung Lee, and he didn't even say this, but just with his campaign, the pictures on each of the tiers just makes you want to open it. It's kind of like a candy wrapper, or like, I don't know if you guys just buying new stuff or having something wrapped in cellophane, there's something there that you want to open it. And so I think that having those images there and making them look candy, or however the layout is, so that you can just go there and people want to click on it and open it, and then they can back it. That's a big deal. And I think your guys' campaign looks very nice. I'm not looking at it right now, but I remember going through it, you put a lot of thought through it. Sometimes you look at them and there's no pictures, there's no, just be kind of slapped together, and it's like, why? No, it's like,
why? Yes, you are 100% correct. Yeah. It is candy. I like that plug, Sweet Cass, because that is candy. Yes, right, yeah. I like that plug, Candyman. And Charlie, your art is amazing. That is so good. Your shadowing is just awesome. I mean, it is just a lot. Like whenever you have that opening scene for the city, like the shadowing, putting your darks where you need to put them. I mean, it's just great. Where you look, you're like, ooh, this is going to be a dark city. This is going to be nice. Is that something you like love playing around with?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for saying those nice things. And I will, if somebody says, oh, the lightings, people talk about light sources, and when they're doing a comic book, I'm always thinking, don't worry too much. Just make the picture just be what it, you know what I mean? Don't worry about it being too realistic. This is supposed to be fun and imaginative and off into other realms, and just let it go. And I'm guilty of that myself, trying to make something a little too real here and there, and thinking, you get bogged down and a little too uptight. Just let it rip, let it off the chain, and and let the shadows be what they are, because in the second half of this book, these three characters together are gonna end up in the back alleys of the underbelly of this sci-fi city, and that is just I am salivating to get it to that point. We're getting near the pages that I'm drawing. It's up in the 30s, and I can't wait. The back alleys. Can I get to the back alleys, please?
That is what every time, and you were told as kids, stay out of the back alleys, and you're like, I want to get into the back alleys, please. I want to get into the back alleys. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to pop in, say hi. This is the Skits Fun House, but you can come get some, whatever you guys would like. If you want to come on my stream as well, and I just want to say you're doing a fantastic job, Michael.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Go back Fatal, guys. They are close to 75K. Yes, Mandible Smasher said he backed the secret Fatal tier.
Nice.
Secret/time limited tiers seem popular now. Dun, dun, dun. I like that. That's awesome, Mandible Smasher.
That tier is so
Thank
secret,
you.
I don't even know what it is. I have no idea what that tier is.
we can go over it again. I think I've got to check on those, but yeah, it's like the mailing list. You have to find a way to create, like it helps us out if you back the campaign early. So I want to help you out or incentivize you to get on the mailing list, one, but also to back quickly is the other one.
Look at those Dracula words. Dracula's using those big words, incentivize. I mean, ooh, that is such a Stoker. Incentivize. Guys, go back Fatal. Skits ourselves, we're one backer away from 200, so check us out as well. But check out Fatal. Let's get them to 75K, because then we can have them back and say, how does it feel to be a 100K Candyman? And you'll be like, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. I'm going to say bye.
Bye. There you go. So that just so you know, Charlie, that's my wonderful wife, Black Star. She also does shows and stuff. She's the one who's got the energy. She really pulls things, and she's just like rip roaring all the time. If you're in this mode right now where you're doing the campaign and you're down at the dregs in your last 2 days and you're just trying to muster up energy, that's the girl that you want in your corner right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds like wonderful. You'd be the calm one and she's the energy one.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like I have to compete with her because she's showing me up and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And so then I'm like, But this is actually why when I do the show, I stand up, because I find like when I sit down, I'm just kind of like, hey, how's it going, guys? So if I stand up, I'm like,
I like that. I'll have to try that sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, standing, it's just, I don't know. It's tough for me because I have bad feet and stuff, so I kind of get some pains. But I just go through it because I feel like if I'm like this, I'm motivated, I'm excited, and I can get a little more animated and do things, And if I know it's making me feel good, it's also making y'all feel good because you're here and you see how excited I am. I'm moving around. And I think that's really it. I've been on enough shows now to know that it's tough to get motivated if the person on the other side is just kind of like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, man. And even I stand and draw at this table. I put it up there, and then when my feet, because sitting too much, my back hurts. I'm so old. My back hurts from sitting. So then I stand at the table, and then after a few hours, then my feet hurt, and I'm thinking, this is checkmate. I just have to lie down because either my back hurts, like I'm a lawyer at the table, or I'm standing and I need orthopedics. My feet hurt, like I'm the lunch lady.
Yeah,
like I'm hitting sloppy joes all day.
What you need to do, and this is something that I've been doing for, I don't know, since maybe I was about 28 now. I exercise, I run, daily, so I know it works out stuff, especially at the end of the day. You're just like, oh, my whole body, get out there and run a few miles or go hit the weights a little bit, you know, and just work it out, just get it out of you, you know. And I feel like as artists, as writers, that people who sit at desks all day, you really need to get out there and do this. You know, it's beneficial to your mind, spirit, and body. You know, most people are like, I don't really want to, you know, my body's fine or something. It doesn't matter. Just get out there and try and do something for yourself. It makes your every being of your body just feel better, you know.
I used to run 3 miles a day, maybe around this time last year, and suddenly I started getting this weird pain that went from my knee down my leg, and I thought, now I'm getting pain from working out, so I stopped, and then I got really fat really fast. I mean, I was packing on. I wasn't even eating pies or ice cream or anything. Just it was getting ugly. And so now the best way out is the yoga ball. Get on the yoga ball, just stretch out. And now the back getting so bad, I want the inversion table. I want to be upside down. I need that spine to stretch me out. I need to go Batman. Hang upside down.
Something you can do that might be a little cheaper is you could do pull-ups. You get you a pull-up bar and just hang from it. You know, hang from it and twist your body and do stuff like that. Works just the same. And it doesn't cost as much money. Yeah.
Go to the jungle gym, the local park, the McDonald's kids play place. I could see you stretching out there.
You go play with the Hamburglar and stuff like that out there. Go in the balls, you know, you can dive
just
in the
floating
balls.
in the
come with
pit all day.
Wear a
Kids,
sweatband, like a headband. Yeah.
Don't mind me. I just have a bad back. I just need to be in the ball pit. Everybody back up. That silly man is back again.
Well, that's fantastic, man. So I always like to keep these at about an hour. So let's go ahead and start rolling it up, you know. And I know, Clint, you're tired. You need to go. I'm sure you got other streams. Do you have, I mean, to me, I remember your last campaign. Are you doing more streams this time than you did your last campaign?
Yes, definitely. Part of it is the fact that this is a longer campaign. I usually just do a 30-day campaign. And then there's in demand, but for this one, you know, I've been saying it's our blockbuster. So we tried the 60-day campaign, but we did the 30 and then extend it for 30 kind of thing. So it's a twice as long of a campaign, and then it's it's the blockbuster. So it's a lot of streaming, but it's been really good to kind of compare notes and see how it goes. I'm really interested when the thing ends off. Just to sort of measure percentage, to see what I can learn, you know. But so yeah, there's been a lot of streaming, which has been great, and there's a lot of people that are like yourself. I appreciate having us on. So it's been kind of cool to make the rounds, the media circuit, so to speak.
Well, I'm very pleased to have you, and you're always welcome anytime. For some reason, I always get on really good with you, so I do appreciate it. And also, Charlie. This stream right here, this is the Skits Fun House. Usually I just have artists on this stream. Artists alone, and that's it. So can I have you back at some time? We can talk shop, you know, some art
Absolutely,
stuff.
man. I would love that. Just try and stop me. If you have me on to say talk shop and talk after, I don't know how long you keep those streams, but after a while you say, I gotta go do stuff. Could you please stop talking? And you'll shut the stream off, and I'll still be sitting here looking into the camera saying, but then if you use those kind of lines, then it's going to turn the whole book up. I mean, the lighting will be all wrong. I'll just be talking to an empty camera.
Hey, well, maybe we can have you back in a few weeks, and also that'll give you a little more push after the fact, after it shuts down. You know, we'll be in demand and stuff like that, and that'll be kind of fun. But for right now, Clint, can you go ahead and tell people where they can reach you, tell people about the campaign, a last little push before we shut this down?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about the campaign first. Fatal it stands for, first off, people always ask this, but it stands for Flynn's Alien Termination and Logistics. It's a small businessman that is trying to make his way in the galaxy by exterminating alien invasions. And so he finds a planet that is in need of some help, and they seem really all too comfortable with the invasion that they've found themselves in, and it just gets stranger from there. Very, very exciting book. So yeah, if you haven't backed it, back it. There's 2 days left. So get in there. And then you can find me. I'm probably most seen on YouTube, which is Sweetcast is the name of my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's @CastSweet. So thanks.
Nice. Hey, Charlie, where can people find you?
You can find me right here, right now. You can find me hanging out around with Clint sometimes. Usually on Monday. You were 2 months ago. You were the only one on Monday nights, Clint. Now that is the most packed night. Everybody's going on Monday night. Thinking
I used to Sorry. I was going to say I would always rotate it because everyone would start streaming when I did. And then I just gave up. I'm like, I'm doing it Monday night. If you want to stream Monday night, oh well.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way. That's the best way to do it. You just got to set a schedule for yourself and go for it and not worry what's going on around you. And I would say that for everyone out there, if you want to do this, if you're trying to do what you see going on right now on the screen and in Indiegogo land and YouTube and everything else, just do what you want to do. And if there's something for it, people will come, they will find you. Get out there on some streams, talk about yourself, do the best you can. And of course, everybody, you can actually find us. I mean, Skits the Sun Book 1, we're the only campaign. You got 3 books, 3 covers, 3 variant stories, 1 insane adventure wrapped in a Skits band, signed and numbered specifically for you. And we're just proud to be here and to be with you and to have all these fine people in the chat. Thank you, chat, for being here. You've been wonderful today. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video out for us here. And I don't have it queued up. This is going to be a sound. I'm stumbling. I don't know what's going on. Okay, now we got it. And I'd just like to say thank you to everybody.